Have you ever wondered what happens when fairy tales collide with royal protocol, and the magic vanishes in broad daylight? Just 5 minutes ago, whispers became headlines. The world held its breath. A hush fell over palace watchers, gossip forums, social feeds. Even late-night comedians went quiet. Because the impossible just happened. King Charles III reportedly made a dramatic, irreversible announcement. According to sources leaking from inside the royal family, Meghan Markle has been stripped of all her royal titles and privileges. Before we continue, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell for updates. The term Duchess of Sussex, gone. The privileges, the perceived prestige, the royal brand under Sussex, supposedly erased. And the world is reeling. This isn't just another royal tabloid rumor. This is a rupture. A headline that could change everything. For Meghan, for the monarchy, and for everyone who has watched their saga unfold. Strap in, because if this final announcement is real, we're witnessing one of the biggest royal dramas of the century, and the shockwaves are already spreading. The announcement that shook the monarchy. Picture this, a dimly lit press room at Buckingham Palace. Cameras poised, reporters fidgeting, the air thick with tension. Then, a single figure stepping up to the podium. Apparently, King Charles III himself. No preamble, no royal flourish, just a calm voice, heavy with gravity. He begins by speaking of tradition, duty, and legacy. Then the bomb drops. Effective immediately, Meghan Markle is to lose all royal titles and privileges. The Duchess title, the Sussex brand, the public-facing honors, all gone. In the room, gasps. Phones click. Live feeds explode. By the time the first tweet hits, social media is alight. Royal watchers scramble. Why now? Why this sudden, final cut? According to the leaks, mounting tension inside the palace, strategic pressure from senior courtiers, and a growing consensus that the Sussex problem has become more harmful than manageable. For many, it's a brutal collapse of what once seemed glamorous, a public stripping of identity, status, and legacy. And the world is watching. But how real is it? And what could it mean going forward? What it means to lose royal titles. The legal and historical angle. First, a basic royal fact check. Under British peerage laws, removing a title or dukedom isn't simple. Historically, it's only happened in very rare, extreme circumstances, generally through acts of parliament or under special royal prerogatives. House of Commons Library. That's why many experts say that even if King Charles or his family wants to strip Meghan and her husband Prince Harry of their Duke and Duchess of Sussex labels, it wouldn't be a snap of the fingers move. Yet the leaks insist this time, it's done. No more Sussex titles, no privileges, no royal privileges, effectively turning a former duchess into a private citizen overnight. If true, the implications are massive. For Meghan, it would mean losing the aura of royalty. The formal connection to centuries-old lineage. It would sever official ties to the institution, potentially affecting public perception, legal standing, and even her children's titles. For the monarchy, it signals a tightening of control. A message, dissent, or spectacle at this level carries serious consequences. For the public, it raises uncomfortable questions. Can institutions built on tradition truly reinvent themselves? Or are they rewriting history in real time? The fallout. How media, public, and industry might react. Imagine the headlines just hours later. Duchess turned citizen, royal brand collapsed. Meghan's Hollywood future in jeopardy. For tabloids and gossip outlets, it's a feast. For royal watchers, chaos. For fans and critics alike, a shockwave. Social media becomes a battlefield. Supporters ask, was this justified or cruel? Critics argue, finally justice served. Celebrities and Hollywood insiders, who once courted Meghan's royal status, suddenly have to reassess their associations. Deals negotiated based on royal cachet might evaporate. Invitations that hinged on her duchess title could become awkward. Think about the fashion houses she partners with, the philanthropic initiatives she promotes, all potentially losing the perceived royal glow. And the long-term brand implications? Huge. The Sussex brand might crumble. The royal in Hollywood niche could become nothing more than a footnote. It's not just a personal blow. It's a public spectacle, a redefinition of identity, power, and privilege. Live, in real time. But that's just the beginning. The human side. What this means for Meghan, Harry, and their family. Titles and privileges aren't just about pomp. For some, they represent identity, belonging, a sense of security, belief in legacy. For Meghan, a woman who once stood in full white royal regalia, framed by cameras and public adoration, this severance could feel like erasure. Suddenly, the tabloids' whispers about celebrity without the crown carry weight. Reality may hit like a cold wave. For Prince Harry and their children, the blow is emotional and existential. What does it mean to grow up as just Archie and Lilibet, not princes/princesses, not heirs, not members of a royal lineage anymore? There's also public perception. For supporters, Meghan might gain sympathy as someone stripped, exposed, vulnerable. For detractors, it could validate their criticisms. And for the monarchy, it's a statement. Royal means hierarchy, unity, lineage. Remove the titles, and you blur those lines. Decide who belongs. Decide who doesn't. But will it truly stick? Or is this just step one in a longer saga of power plays and palace intrigue? Could it even be legal? Or is this entire story a hoax? Here's where the skepticism kicks in. Because in real law and precedent, royals don't lose dukedoms overnight. It requires legislation, formal process, or explicit royal warrant. House of Commons Library. Recent expert commentary supports this. Many analysts argue that removing, say, the Duke of Sussex title from Harry, and by extension stripping Meghan's Duchess title, would require more than just a royal statement. Some insist that even talk about stripping titles is inevitable, perhaps once a new monarch sits the throne, but for now, that remains speculation. So, is this recent headline just palace gossip blown out of proportion? A rumor seeded by adversaries? A hypothetical warning disguised as news? If you were betting, the odds lean heavily toward caution. But if even a fraction of the leaks are true, if there's now paperwork being drafted, legal motions in motion, seals being readied, then this could be the beginning of something real. And that uncertainty is what makes this moment so dangerous, so volatile, so captivating. What does history tell us about past royal title strippings? This isn't the first time the monarchy has dealt with title removal, though such occasions are exceedingly rare. In previous eras, titles were stripped under extreme circumstances, wartime, treason, or massive betrayals. But removing a ducal title simply because a member is seen as problematic? That's new territory. The closest analogies are decades old, often involving foreign royals, political enemy status, or wartime hostility. Not a celebrity turned activist. Not a member who walked away voluntarily. Which leads to a troubling question. If this move actually happens, are we witnessing a rewriting of the monarchy's rules? Are the centuries-old codes of nobility being replaced by modern considerations of PR, scandal management, and media optics? If so, the implications go well beyond Meghan or Harry. This could reshape how the royal family views succession, loyalty, and membership permanently. And that's why the world is watching, not just for gossip, but for history in the making. What could happen next? Possible scenarios and fallout. If the stripping of titles is real, there are a few paths this story could take. Meghan and Harry become private citizens. No Duchess, no Sussex. Their children lose royal styling. Their brand takes a massive hit. The Sussex chapter closes, perhaps permanently. They hire lawyers. They argue the removal is illegal without parliamentary approval or proper procedure. The monarchy enters a constitutional showdown. Public opinion could split, some supporting, others outraged. The couple may be allowed a modified title or a private peerage, but without public privileges. A symbolic middle ground, aimed at preserving some dignity while enforcing consequences. Palace or royal sources deny it. Media investigation reveals no legal record. Public interest fades. The entire thing becomes another tabloid rumor dismissed into the archives. Each path carries high stakes, and each will shape the future of one of the world's most famous families, possibly forever. What this means for royal fans, media consumers, and the public at large. Maybe you care deeply about the monarchy. Maybe you follow royal news for drama, gossip, or fashion. Maybe you just skim headlines for the occasional shocker. Here's the truth. If this story is real, It changes how we'll view royals, not as untouchable icons, but as people subject to consequences. It humanizes them, but also makes their world feel more fragile. For media consumers, expect sensational headlines. Expect takes, outrage, backlash, defenses, apologies, meme festivals. The royal brand is now fair game. For fans of the fairy tale palace dream, this could be a painful reckoning. A reminder that behind the glittering crowns and golden carriage rides lie politics, power plays, and fragile reputations. For the monarchy, it's a warning. Loyalty and silence may no longer guarantee security. Fame and celebrity might come with strings attached and risk. And for the rest of us, a reminder that even institutions built on legacy aren't immune to reinvention or collapse. But is it real? Why experts and reports suggest caution? Here's where facts fight fiction. Because despite all the dramatic leaks, official experts and constitutional scholars keep sounding a note of skepticism. Removing peerage titles is rarely done. It requires an act of parliament or a formal royal warrant under special circumstances, not just a press conference. Recent commentary suggests that even though titles are under scrutiny, there's no concrete legal move, at least not yet. Some insiders argue that by the time change actually happens, if ever, the Sussex brand may have diminished on its own, making formal stripping unnecessary. So while the leaks make for sensational headlines, the chances remain that this is just that: leaks, rumors, speculation. We are left in the gray zone, where the question is not just will it happen, but can it happen? What if you're watching this as an outsider? What should you think? You might ask, why should I care? This isn't my life. Fair point. But this story has lessons that reach far beyond palace gates. Identity is fragile. What we believe gives us status can vanish overnight. Legacy can be overturned. Institutions built over centuries may change on a whim. Perception matters. Public image, in media, business, or relationships, can depend on fragile signals. Power structures shift. Even royal titles aren't safe when politics, public opinion, or internal tensions come into play. Take a moment to think. In your own life, what status or privilege do you take for granted? What assumptions about identity, position, stability could one sudden announcement overturn? Because if the royals teach us anything, it's this: nothing is permanent. Not fame, not prestige, not history. The possibility that Meghan Markle has been stripped of her titles is chilling. It's dramatic. It's painful. It's real, at least in the realm of speculation. But until there is official confirmation, public record, or legal documentation, treat this headline as what it is: a bold claim. A what-if turned rumor. A shock tactic against the backdrop of royal tension and public fascination. That said, don't tune out just yet. Because whether this ends in a media storm, a constitutional fight, or a quietly filed piece of legislation, the outcome could reshape everything we know about royalty,